Good evening, viewer. Welcome to our Globe TV. Here's breaking news. Yes, a report highlights a fragile global order, China's military expansion plans, its aggressive cyber operations too. An assessment by US intelligence agencies warns of a potential armed conflict between India and China aimed large troop deployments by both sides and sporadic encounters between their militaries, adding the border disputes will remain a strain on ties between the neighbors. The assessment further states that China is looking to establish overseas military bases at multiple locations including Sri Lanka and Pakistan in its attempt to project power and protect China's interests abroad. The shared disputed border between India and China will remain a strain on their bilateral relationships while the two sides have not engaged in significant cross-border clashes since 2020. They are maintaining large troops deployments and sporadic encounters between opposing forces risk miscalculation and escalation into armed conflict, states the annual threat assessment of the US intelligence community released by the Director of National Intelligence on Monday as it talks about potential interstate conflicts. The report highlights a fragile global order, China's military expansion plans, its aggressive cyber operations, and its possible attempt to influence the 2024 US presidential elections. It further talks about other conflicts including the Israel-Hamas war and the Russia-Ukraine war. Prime Minister Narendra Modi last week inaugurated the strategic Sela tunnel built at an altitude of 13,000 feet in Arunachal Pradesh that will provide all-weather connectivity to Tawang. Infrastructure projects near Indo-China border have gathered pace since a military standoff with China in Ladakh sector of the line of actual control began in May 2020. Both sides have added close to 50,000 troops each in Ladakh sector, and India has made it clear that bilateral relations cannot be normalized till there is peace and tranquility in the border areas. New Delhi and Islamabad are inclined to sustain the current fragile come in their relationships following their renewal of a ceasefire along the line of actual control in early 2021. However, neither side has used this period to come to rebuild their bilateral ties as each government has focused on more pressing domestic priorities including election perpetrations and campaigning, and for Pakistan concern were rising militant attacks in its west, the report underscores. Pakistan's long history of supporting anti-India militant groups and India's increased willingness under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to respond with military force to perceived or real Pakistani provocations raise the risk of escalation during a crisis. There remains the potential for an event to trigger a rapid escalation in the date. On China's plans to create overseas bases in India's neighborhood and other areas, the report states that the People's Liberation Army will continue to pursue the establishment of overseas military installations and accesses agreements in an attempt to project power and protect China's interest abroad. Beyond developing its military base in Djibouti and its military facility in Rim Naval base in Cambodia, Beijing reportedly is considering pursuing military facilities in multiple locations including but not limited to Burma, Cuba, Equatorial Guinea, Pakistan, Seychelles, Sri Lanka, Tajikistan, Tanzania and United Arab Emirates, it says. The report notes that Beijing will focus on building a fully modernized national defense and military forces by 2035 and for the PLA to become a world-class military by 2049. In the meantime, the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, hopes to use the PLA to secure what it claims is its sovereign territory, to assert its preeminence in regional affairs and to project power globally, particularly by being able to deter and counter an intervention by the United States in a cross-strait conflict it adds. Behind the report, Glory Globe TV, Delhi, Bharat.